Good morning to everyone. A very pleasant morning, and we welcome you all to the 4-day webinar series on behalf of KSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. The program will begin shortly as soon as the resource person joins us. Kindly wait for some time. Thank you. A very special morning to everyone gathered here in the online platform. Here's a hearty welcome to the fourth and final day of the 4-day webinar series on Skill Up. To say we are thrilled to see you online is an understatement. It's my pleasure To extend a cheerful welcome, and I request Mrs. Vidya Ma'am, Assistant Professor from the Department of Information Technology, to welcome the gathering. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. A very pleasant good morning to one and all present in this session. I am extremely honored to have this opportunity to address you in this auspicious day on behalf of Placement Cell. I'd like to welcome our chief guest speaker, Mr. SRINATH Mohan, HR from PAYODA Technologies, Coimbatore. Our correspondent, ma'am, Ms. Geeta, KSG institution, and our principal, Dr. M. Nagarajan, sir, who supported to do this session, and Dr. B. Gunalan, CEO, under his guidance, Dr. M. Bhaskar, Vice Principal, sir, convener of placement cells, and department heads, faculty members, and young enthusiastic students. I welcome you in the most significant phase of placement, personal branding for employment. I could like to quote that placement is not given, it has to be earned. Thank you. I welcome you all.
Thank you for the warm note of welcome, Vidya ma'am. I'm profusely elated
Thank
and
you, ma'am.
request I'm profusely elated and request Assistant Professor A. Prakash sir to take the opportunity and welcome the resource person of the day to us. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, one and all present here. Chief guest introduction. Mr. SRINATH Mohan, Talent Engagement HR Business Partner, PAYODA Technology, Coimbatore. His bachelor's in physics from University of Madras, master's in psychology, general psychology from University of Madras, and post-graduation in management, master of business administration with human resource and marketing from University of Madras. He has 10 plus years of work experience in all HR functions with various organizations like DSM Soft Private Limited, Real Image Media Technologies, Pixel Vision and QED, Everest Edusis and Solution Private Limited. Currently, he is working as Manager, Talent and Culture, PAYODA Technology, Coimbatore. His area of expertise are employee engagement, recruitment, employee relations, TMS, and change management. His vision includes in banking being an effective team player with the abilities and motivating the personnel towards achieving organization's objectives and adhering to industry's best practices. Mr. Srinath is quite interested in social services and his volunteering service includes facilitator, gift a future, providing life skills to school children. Member of Chennai Councilors Function. It is a really honor to have you with us, sir. Definitely, the session will be very interesting one. Once again, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash. So you all can hear me, right? You all can hear me, I think.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Andisha. So good morning, everyone, and nice to see students here. So before we start this presentation, I just have very minimal slides because when we go beyond on slides or talk for more than an hour or two, then I think the purpose of this thing will actually get diluted, and it becomes one other lecture where we get into the advice mode and talk about things and for people. So it is again has to come from internally, but still I would say like I actually completed my UG in the year 2004, right? So 17 years from now, I actually got graduated I'm an undergraduate from an arts and science college. I'm not from an engineering background, where I'm very happy to see people have this opportunity from arts and science college because all these seminars, there's all these seminar concepts and chief guest lecturers, all these opportunities are actually always seen in the engineering colleges and other other streams colleges, whereas arts and science we have an opportunity to go and make paper presentations. I have not got once, but those opportunities were very limited. Okay, just because I told I finished my graduation in 2004, I'm not a kind of, I'm still a 90s kid is what I claim, though I'm not. But when I see, when there is such an opportunity here for Arts and Science College, then I thought like this would be a fantastic opportunity for you guys to actually, get some takeaways, because every session or every hour that you invest for when 1 hour or 2 hour, whatever that you invest, you always see that there is some takeaways that you have from this session. Okay, so that's why I said I would actually, when I spoke to your Anita Shri ma'am from the placement cell, so I was given 2-3 topics, and I told them, ma'am, this is something, it has been done to people already, especially campus to corporate. All these are kind of been happening day in and day out, every day. You also know, by you know the differences. Campus and the corporate pona FD then your ma'am came with, she was so thoughtful, and she came up with a process saying, sir, I think our people are kind of presenting themselves in the industry or in the recruitment drive, but there is something I see that lacks in them. So can we do something about it? What she told me. And also she came up with this topic of personal branding for employability, which is a fantastic topic, and I would like to thank your Anita Shri ma'am for throwing up such a interesting topic, which I feel like will give some takeaways from this session. Maybe not everything. If not everything, it'll take. So that's why I said I'll keep it minimal, and also I thought I would just give you a few tips. I would not advise, because I don't believe in advising people unless until we realize and we actually internalize and we come ourselves refined. There is no point that the rest of the external people come and talk about things, be it your father, your mother, and also the age factor that actually comes in. When somebody starts saying or advising, then we actually get into the resistance mode completely and say right again. So just cutting that short, I would say that this topic is a kind of this thing. What I always do is, whenever I present this topic, I want it always to be an interaction session, number one. And also, whenever I ask questions, I may not be able to see the chat section, so I would request you to unmute yourself and answer questions, number one. Number two, there are no right or wrong answers. Okay, if it is right, if it is right, then everybody is going to go about it. If it is not right, then we all will collectively find out what is right or what is wrong. Number two. And finally, I was given a liberty to actually have it as a bilingual session. Okay, because communication is very important, and if you want to keep it all professional, and people think it is so professional when you take through this session completely in English. But unless until it goes as an effective communication where you understand what I talk and what is actually the essence or core content, then there is no use of actually doing it. So madam also suggested that if I could actually do it bilingual. So one really request from my side is, please let us have it as an interaction session, so you could talk with me and you could talk with me and do stuff like that. Okay, so let's quickly get into the topic now. Hope you all can see my screen. You all can see my screen, right? Because I will be only seeing my screen, and only when you respond, then I will know whether you are able to see my screen, and I can actually start the session. So you're able to see my screen, isn't it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So first is again personal branding. What is personal branding? Why all of a sudden you are calling somebody else from the industry and asking them to present a topic on personal branding? Why this is very important? Why I have to invest this 1 hour of time in knowing what is this topic is all about, and why should I actually invest my time here? Okay, so yes, you would have come through campus to corporate, how the transition would be, or how you present yourself and all this stuff. But here this is again, it is not an overnight task. I personally believe from my side, where it is not an overnight task. It's a task which has to be done over a period of time. It's a task it's done over a period of time for it to build your brand. Okay, what is a brand? For a brand, can you give me fantastic three fantastic shoe brands here? Very easy brands. Can anybody? Nalla shoe brands. Okay, I take that silence as answer, and I would say, the shoe brands have been someone we all, say Adidas, Reebok, Nike, right? So, but still, why we were able to actually get into those kind of brands? Because a shoe is a shoe. And the shoe right? But why that actually strikes our mind when we talk about shoes or slippers or anything of that sort? It's because that is the kind of brand that actually got registered in our mind because of its quality, because of its pricing, because of its value. Because of quality and value is what you actually get. For example, you have regular shoes in the market. You have a number of brands in the shoes in the market. But how does Adidas or Reebok actually stands class apart from the market? எப்படி அது அந்த ரெண்டு பிராண்ட்னு சொன்னோடனே இதுதான் பிராண்ட், ஷூஸ்னா இந்த ஷூஸ் தான் போடுற மாதிரி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது, தட் இஸ் பிகாஸ் போடும்போது நம்மளுக்கு அந்த கம்ஃபர்டபிலிட்டி இருக்கும், ரொம்ப தூரம் நடக்கும்போது கால் வலிக்காது, லைட் வெயிட் ஷூஸ், ரொம்ப நாளைக்கு சஸ்டைனபிளா இருக்கும், மழையில நனைஞ்சாலும் வந்து கிழியாது. ஸோ தெர் ஆர் மெனி ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் விச் ஆக்சுவலி கம்ஸ் இன் அண்ட் ஃபைனலி ஒர்க் ஃபார் மணி. நான் வந்து 1000 ரூபாய், 1500 இல்லை 2000 ரூபாய் கொடுத்து வாங்குறேன் அப்படின்னா அந்த 2000 ரூபாய்க்கான வேல்யூ ஐ கெட் actually for next for a year or two in all conditions, in all climates, rough roads, all well-laid roads, or summer, winter, or even it is raining, your shoes completely got soaked in water or drenched. Eppadi irundhalum it still lasts forever. That is the value that brands actually gives you. That is the quality that gives you. That's how it is actually defined as brand, and that gets registered. Likewise, when a normal commodity, since everybody is from arts and science, you understand these basic terms like commodities. So when a normal commodity needs a brand for themselves to get highly sold in the market, then as a human, as a student, we also feel like creating one single brand to market ourselves. That is number one. Maybe marketing ourselves in terms of managing ourselves to get an employment side, right? But the other side, it is again, see how we actually stand different from rest of the crowd. கிளாஸ்ல 60 பேர் இருப்பீங்க. அந்த 60 பேர் இருந்தாலும் வந்து பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் எடுக்கிறது ஒருத்தரா தான் இருக்கும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் இல்லை ரேங்க் 10, ரேங்க் 5 இருக்கிறது ஒருத்தரா இருக்கும். ஆனால் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு சில பேருக்கு வந்து அந்த ரேங்க் டசன்ட் மேட்டர், பட் டேலண்ட் பயங்கரமா இருக்கும். So everybody is unique and they all actually stand from the rest of the crowd. But what happens is, நம்ம இப்போ employment market இப்போ அந்த மாதிரி இருந்தாலும், when it comes to employment market, that's why the title of this, the topic of this session itself is again personal branding for employability in that. And in another 6 months of time, you would be getting into your placements. In case of companies visits, then they get into the placements, and placements வரும்போது பாத்தீங்கன்னா, I would like to relate everything on the placement side of it. In our placement drive போகும்போது, what are those experiences they actually get from people, different experience from candidates. 1000 பேர் உட்கார்ந்து எழுதுவாங்க. There will be thousands of people appearing, thousands of students appearing in the interview process, in the selection process. But end of the day, we will be able to manage at least to get see 3 to 4 people or maximum 6 people out of that 1000. 1000 பேரை சல்லடை மாதிரி போட்டு எடுத்தாலும் we get at least 6 people. So how we are able to manage these people? On the other side, from the student's perspective, how those 6 people, how those 6 candidates are able to make it through the interview process and able to join us. So how they stand apart, what is their uniqueness, right? So how they stand and how they differentiate themselves from the rest of the people. And 1000 பேர்ல அந்த 6 பேரால எப்படி அவங்களால மாத்திரம் இருக்க முடிஞ்சது, அவங்களால differentiate பண்ணி இருக்க முடிஞ்சது, and they had been a part of the process, selection process, and they made it through success, right? So that is the basic core important area for us to understand. That is where the question actually comes is, why this personal branding is so important. பர்சனல் பிராண்டிங் சொல்லி பேச ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டிங்க, பிராண்ட் என்னன்னு கேட்டோம், எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டோம். ஆனால் எதுக்கு, நான் ஏன் பண்ண, why should I create a brand for myself, right? Because we are in a competitive market. இப்போ நீங்கள் ஒரு 10 பேர் வந்து ஒரு இன்டர்வியூக்கு வரீங்கன்னா அந்த 10 பேரில் வந்து ஒரு பொசிஷன் 2 பொசிஷன் will screen 6-7 people or 8-9 people, but for those 2 positions we will be able to get only 2 people, and those 2 people would actually have something else with them to offer from the rest of the 8 people, right? So the market is very competitive, and one very interesting that we look at in the interview process is in the resumes kondu varuvaanga nariya per pathinga appadina. So that is the first tool that actually makes that carries all your information to the respective interviewers or recruiters. அவங்ககிட்ட போகும்போது அது ஒரு அந்த சில டைம் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா they come along for the when they come for the personal interview, they come along with the resume. நிறைய பேர் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா அந்த ரெசியூமேஸில் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்மார்ட்டாக வந்து சில பேர்லாம் ஒரே மாதிரி டெம்ப்ளேட் இருக்கும். அதில் ஒரே டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் என்ன இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க பேர், அவங்களுடைய பர்சனல் அட்ரஸ், அவங்களோட பர்சனல் இமெயில் ஐடி அட்ரஸ் இதெல்லாம் மாத்திரம் சேஞ்ச் ஆகும் ஒரு சில பேருக்கு. ஓகே, ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போது ஒரு சில பேர் ரொம்ப ஸ்மார்ட்டாக என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னா ஒரே டெம்ப்ளேட் ரெசியூமே இருக்கும். இட் வில் பி ஒரே சிங்கிள் சிமிலர் டெம்ப்ளேட், வேரஸ் they will actually shuffle all the pointers. First point is 6th place, 6th point husband கேட்டா சார் இது ரெண்டு 2 different resumes அப்படின்வாங்க, right? So now resume is not just for the sake of actually carrying information. The resume is something where it's a kind of a gate pass for them to, first of all, for them to get you noticed. Okay, so இப்போ ஒரு HR கிட்ட போறோம் இல்ல ஒரு recruit கிட்ட போறோம் அப்படின்னா the first thing they ask for is share your resume with me, right? So recruiters first when you get your resume, the attention seeking pointers அப்படின்றது இருக்கு. அந்த attention seeking pointers is nothing but your brand. Okay, so it's not like resume அப்படின்னு கேட்டோடனே 4 கட்டம் போட்டு first you will have your education qualification போட்டுடுவோம். நெக்ஸ்ட் ரெsumeல பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுடைய ப்ராஜெக்ட் டீடைல்ஸ் இருக்கும் போட்டுடுவோம். கீழே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுடைய பர்சனல் டீடைல்ஸ் இருக்கும், அவ்வளோதான். மேலே உங்களுடைய கீழே உங்களுடைய நேஷனாலிட்டி அந்த டீடைல்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கும். அப்புறம் டிக்ளரேஷன் இருக்கும். ஸோ தட்ஸ் வாட் த டெம்ப்ளேட் ஆர் சம்திங் தட் வி ஹேவ் வேர் இட் சேஸ் okay it's a very one single resume or every other resume that we actually look from freshers. Okay, so when you are experienced, then they will actually get into it and start reading it. But when you are fresher and wanted to market yourself அப்படிங்கும்போது this branding actually takes place, and this branding is going to help you to be as one selling commodity in the employment market, right? So in employability marketல நம்மளை எப்படி நம்ம இது பண்ண போறோம் அப்படின்னும்போது இந்த மாதிரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் விஷயங்கள் உங்களோட ரெsume தான் வருது. பட் அந்த ரெsume ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஒரு ஆர்டினரி ரெsume இருக்கும்போது that doesn't actually get attraction, that doesn't get any attention of your HR or your recruiter. So from the HR standpoint, I always keep telling even my cousins as well, for them to see what is needed in a resume for the HR to get attentive towards your resume and say I think this guy has some potential, yes, this guy has something, and let's call him for a discussion. So that is the very first basic thing that you actually get into it, because once you become an experienced person, they are going to look at what you have done in your previous organization versus now what is it that you want to do. So why this personal branding, again coming back to the topic, why this personal branding is very important is you don't want to become one commodity in the market. You have 1,000 cars that is actually getting sold every day. So you're not one commodity, you're not one very general commodity in the market available all the time with very simple features. Okay, and also disadvantages compared to others. When other actually stands out differently, then that becomes your disadvantage. ஒரு 60,000 rupeesக்கு 2 பைக் இருக்கு அப்படின்னும் போது ஒரு பைக் ரொம்ப வித் நார்மல் ஃபீச்சர்ஸ் நார்மல் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட் இருக்கும், பட் there is one other bike which actually has more features in the bike அப்படின்னும் போது people will go for it, and that has been the disadvantage for the normal or the bike that is sold in the market. And you will lose significant career opportunities. As long as your resume is not actually attracted or that gets you the attention of the recruiter, then you will not have a great career opportunities. Okay, finally, limit your research. What happens is it will actually limit your reach. If if you really aspire to get into any of the MNCs, same level 5 companies அப்படின்னும் போது you are not able to read through. இல்லைன்னா நிறைய பேர் என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, நான் நிறைய லிங்க்டின்ல போடுறேன், நான் நௌக்கரியில போடுறேன், எனக்கு கால்ஸே வர மாட்டேங்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. Then it is not because you are not getting calls. It is something where you make your resume in such a way that you actually see how you get into the the attention span of your recruiter and see how you are getting called for. Okay, so this is one thing. So next, finally, now what is my brand? First, why it is required அப்படின்ற மாதிரி பார்ப்போம். எதுக்காக இந்த நான் ஏன் பிராண்டிங்கிறது என்னது, why, what is a personal branding and why it is important பார்ப்போம், and what is your brand. When it comes to your brand, the first thing that you do is actually your self impression. There are a lot of things actually. A lot of students, when we look at the first question that we ask them from the HR side is again, tell me about yourself. Okay, so when we say tell me about yourself, people start about I am so and so, I am from this college, I gained this percentage in the 6th semester, waiting for my 7th semester results, and I did my schoolings here, I did the project. All this stuff is already available in the resume. Okay, so it is very important for you to actually make those impressions. The impressions are very differently. Your self impression or first impression is totally different. So you see how you wanted to project yourself rather than making a very ordinary opening up for yourself. Okay, ஒரு மூவி எடுத்தாலே பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ஹீரோவோட இன்ட்ரோ வந்து நார்மலா இருந்தா என்னப்பா நார்மலா இருக்குன்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும், because that is the kind of impact that person is actually going to make. That's how the hero is actually getting registered in mind. Likewise, you are hero in your own terms, and if you want to get into an organization, you see how you wanted to have your entries. Okay, and personal branding is always a state of mind. When you think, that's why we say thinking is very important, where it is again a state of mind. You think you are the best, you are going to the best. When you think you are the best, your actions will be best, your thoughts will be best, and your gestures will be best. Right? If you think yourself as a celebrity, then you get that kind of attitude, and you get everything actually revolving around you. That's why we say what you think you become. Yeah, so that's why thinking is very important. That is why we also say that personal branding is always a state of mind, and it's very important. Okay, and the 3 basics that you wanted to remember is, when you say what is branding, these are the 3 basic questions that actually comes to mind. First, who are you? As I said, your self impression. Create that self impression. You understand who you are. There is no defined template for this saying நான் இப்படிதான் நான் இப்படிதான் நான் இப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னு. One doesn't fit for all solutions. So it is again you see how you wanted to actually present yourself. What you do in the sense, it is not like what you do on the normal things. When you say what you do, then you would say I'm studying in so and so, I'm studying in KSG college, final year KSG, awaiting for my results, or I'll say I'm doing my 3rd year in KSG college in so and so department. That is already known. But what is that you do extra to what you are actually? நீங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட் இந்த காலேஜ்ல படிக்கிறன்றது இட்ஸ் a general thing. In addition to it, what you do அப்படின்றது வந்து you have to actually brand it. And what makes you, இந்த 2 விஷயங்கள் தெரிஞ்சாலே what makes you unique. So you and your friend from the same college appears for one for a position in a company, but what is interesting in you that actually makes you to get yourself placed in employment. So these are the 3 questions that you ask yourself for you to know what is your brand, or how you can actually make your brand. So first is, what is a brand? So how do I build my brand? Okay, so how do I build my brand? That's the next question. So what is my brand? What you do, first what you are, what you do, and what actually makes you unique from the rest of the crowd. Okay, then how do I build my brand? First, discover your brand. Okay, there are 4 steps to it. I actually simplified into 4 steps in knowing about this, but everything revolves against a simple concept, and how you discover that simple concept of being unique, standing out from the crowd, and how you can impress your your recruiter or your employer, or during your campus interviews, the HRs, and see how you actually manage to it. So the process is very different, simple. First one is discover your brand. Next one is develop your brand. Okay, and then communicate, and finally maintain. So let's see all this, how this actually happens in the forthcoming slides. So first is one again is a discover. So how I discover my brand. சரி பிராண்டினா என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம், அது ஏன் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பார்த்தோம், என்னோட பிராண்ட் என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். ஓகே, ஸோ நான் இதெல்லாம் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா நிறைய பேர் தெரிஞ்சுந்தா ஓகே, பட் when I get into the process of creating my brand, நான் எப்படி பண்ணணும், what is that I should do. ஸோ அந்த ப்ராசஸ் நம்ம இறங்கும் போது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் insights about you. Okay, when you say insights, as I said, it's when you talk about yourself, it is not giving a very cliche or a very standard template of who you are. Okay, you can always give insights or about the thoughts that you already have. You say, I'm a fresh graduate aspiring to become so and so, or I'm a fresh graduate having so many goals in life. Even it could be a simple personal goals in life. There was one guy who said, my first aim is to actually get my mom flying in an aeroplane. It doesn't matter where I fly, from where I fly to where I'm going to get down. Again, it is completely going to be, the first aim is I wanted to actually get my mom, to fly from one city to another. But I want to give her that, flying experience in an airplane. He started with that. He said, that is my ambition in life. And I think actually to reach that ambition, this job will actually help me, because this also is according to my skill sets. And when I achieve this, I think I can actually do that. So something that is the kind of something that he actually started. So it's a different thinking is what I would say. That is the kind of insight that you wanted to give yourself. Okay, and also you talk about your goals. உங்களோட இன்சைட்ஸ் போது உங்களை பத்தின நீங்க எப்படி உங்களை நீங்க இது பண்ண விரும்புறீங்க, உங்களை பத்தி நீங்க டிஃப்ரெண்டா சொல்ல விரும்புறீங்க அப்படின்றது that actually talks about your insights. உங்களோட உள்ளுணர்வுகளை பத்தி நீங்க சொல்லும் போது நீங்க என்ன சொல்றீங்க அப்படின்றது. And also you can also talk about your goals. As I said, that guy's goal, that candidate goal was actually to give his mom a flying experience. Okay, so there are people who actually even talks about, I think I have a goal in my life where I want to complete so and so things. I want to accomplish things in so and so time, and this is the kind of person I'm completely aspired about. I'm aspiring about, and this is what actually makes me unique, and something of that sort. Okay, your personal drives. What actually drives you towards, towards your goal? So when you have a goal, what actually drives you? You say, every morning I get up at 6 o'clock, and that actually loves me because I love playing shuttle. So every morning I get up at 6 o'clock, and even my passion towards playing shuttle actually helps me to get up at 6 o'clock and be in the ground by 6:30. That could be one personal drive. Or you would say, every morning, being a fitness freak, I get up and go for a walk, or I jog. I spend my first 1 hour of the day, at the ground or in the ground, doing some exercises or doing some things and stuff like that. Or somebody being very devotional, they say, I get up early in the morning and I meditate, I yoga, and that actually keeps me going. So personal drives could be anything of that sort. Be it physical, or be it mindful, or even if you have any goals and you want to work towards it, something that you actually, that drives you from the personal side. And values, what is the value that you actually have about it? ஓகே, நான் இப்போ எனக்கு இப்போ டேலி தெரியும். ஸோ நான் அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல எனக்கு ஒரு ஓப்பனிங் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா, தென் டேலி இஸ் மை வேல்யூ. I can add value to the company by having that one extra certification in tally. If you are a basic computer student, you say, apart from your regular curriculum, I have learned, some basic coding platforms, and that becomes your value. Value is something that actually goes beyond the money. Okay, either it is equivalent to the money that you get, value for money in சொல்லி சொல்றாங்க. Yeah, likewise, even there are things which is beyond the worth of your, in terms of monetary terms, நான் அதோட எவ்வளவு வர்த்தா இருக்கா அப்படின்னு சொல்றது actually values. So, and next thing is what you're passionate about. As I said, your personal drives and your passions are always equivalent, which actually drives you, motivates you to run towards one single objective. Okay, and then what you're known for, that is very important. So in colleges, there are people who say what you're known for. So I'm known for my humor. There are people who talks about it. They say I'm known for my sports skills. I'm known for my athlete skills in my college. I'm known for my organization skills, because any culturals, people actually come to me and I know how to organize things. That again become a strength. Okay, so the brand is actually, when you look at on the personal side, how you wanted to build your brand, how do you think என்னோட பிராண்ட் நான் ஒன்று பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா நான் என்னவா இருக்கேன். இதெல்லாம் when you collate all these things, that actually gives you a brand, that actually creates you a brand, right? It is no lesser or higher when you compare to others. First of all, comparison itself is not required because it is your journey, your life, and you know what is priority in your life. So you create your own brand, and that's where it stands. That's why I said there is no single template for brand, and this is one side of it where you could actually discover there could be many other things as well. But நான் இப்போ சொல்லும் போது from the candidate perspective to present yourself in the employer side, because the topic is again personal branding for employability, right? So when you do it, even it could be general things, but you can see how you always correlate to your strengths. Okay, so I did it. I first discovered somehow quickly to run through this again, more of you have some insights about yourself, what kind of person you are, what actually will take you places, or what is your aim and what is the timeline to the aim, your goals that you have, your personal drives, what actually drives you to drives and keep you happy, what is your values, what are the values that you actually follow and practice. You say I am kind of very ethical and this is where I stand no matter what, I don't lose my moral and I never go unethical, be it the situation or the circumstance that's going to drive me, I still stand for it. Okay, so that is also one kind of value that you have to look at. Okay, that talks about your personality and your quality in life and what you're passionate about. Okay, even you are driving bike, you are passionate about driving, that's also one thing, right? And what you're known for, that is again very important because that actually labels you for your branding. Usain Bolt, he is the fastest sprinter in the world. That is the brand. Usain Bolt has become the brand now. நாளைக்கு உசைன் போல்ட்டோட டைமிங்கை பீட் பண்ற வரைக்கும் he is still the champion, right? So develop my brand. So how you develop your brand is you discover what all you are, what is that, now you have an idea about what is that I'm going to present myself அப்படினு போது அதை நான் யாருக்கு present பண்ணணும், right? So இது வந்து நம்ம யாருக்கு present பண்ணணும் அப்படினு தெரியும். The target audience, you have to set to the right audience. There is a very funny thing which actually says ஒரு நாதஸ்வர வித்வான் வந்து ஒரு துபாயில ஒரு அரச சபைக்கு போயிட்டு he was playing for an hour. Okay, he was playing with this instrument for an hour பண்ணும்போது then what happened is அந்த ராஜாக்கு வந்து ராஜா வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா பக்கத்துல கூட இருக்கிறவங்க நாதஸ்வரம் வாசிக்கிறவங்க ஒத்துன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஒத்து செகண்ட் they will fill the timings to the lead player ஓட டைமிங் they will fill it, right? That's what you would have noticed in marriages. போயிட்டு அவருக்கு நிறைய பைசா கொடுத்தோன்னே this lead player was asking like what is this, நான் தான் அங்க வந்து 1 மணி நேரமா கஷ்டப்பட்டு வாசிச்சுன்னு இருந்தேன், பட் நீங்க வந்து என்னடான்னா என்னோட ஃபில்லருக்கு போய் வந்து நீங்க வந்து பைசா இவ்வளவு பைசாவும் நகை அதெல்லாம் கொடுக்குறீங்களே அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு தென் இந்த ராஜா மேட ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் சொன்னாரா, நீங்களாவது வாயிலேருந்து எடுத்து டைம் கொடுத்து வச்சுட்டு வாசித்தீங்க, ஆனா அவர் வாசிக்க ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது வாயில வச்சவர் தான் 1 hour வாயில வச்சு ஊதிட்டு இருந்தாரு, வெளியில எடுக்காமயே வாசிச்சுட்டு இருந்தாரு. I think he is the fantastic musician comparing to you. Why? Because our 1 hour non-stop வாயில வச்சு பேசிட்டே தான் இருந்தாரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. So it is important who is your target audience. கரெக்டான ஆடியன்ஸ்க்கு நீங்க கண்டிப்பா கொண்டு போகல அப்படின்னா it is again a futile exercise. So identify your target audience and you write your professional profile for your target audience. So accordingly, when you are going to present it to your stream, your particular stream, நீங்க வந்து இதுல வந்து how you are going to present it, accordingly you create your resume. Profile is very important, right? Profile is very, very important, as I said, because that is the only first gate pass for you to get attracted by the recruiter and they call you for a discussion. And answer why you are a go-to person for your field of expertise or area of expertise. Okay, that actually talks about your accomplishments. So if you keep on, so there is one very familiar question that is asked in the interview process. Seri idella sollitinga, you presented up about yourself, your project, all this stuff ellame sollitinga. There is one final question. So why do you think I should actually give this job to you? அந்த மாதிரி கேட்கும்போது then what is your answer? So there again comes the uniqueness and your strength in which you are going to convert that as an opportunity for them. For example, you would say, if it is again, since it is an arts, I'm just giving you some basic ideas where, if it is for the same accounts department or so let's say accounts department, then I say, I interviewed 10 of your friends along with you, but why do you think you would be the right person for this position? Then you would say, what, I know Tally. Again, one extracurricular thing that it actually offer you, and I could do it. And also my internship experience talks about what I learned. Okay, finally I could correlate. You can correlate with what is required for them, but is what is that you could actually offer. அவங்களுக்கு என்ன தேவை, அவங்களுக்கு அந்த ரோலுக்கு என்ன வேணும், ஃப்ரெஷர்ஸ்ல என்ன பார்க்குறாங்க. You said you wanted somebody to have experience in account payable and receivables. I have already done in that area of and I have that area of expertise when I did my internship in so and so company. There is also one thing which actually makes you apart from the rest of the 9 people, right? So you see how you can actually correlate. Why do you think you would be the go-to person for that in the field of expertise? Okay, so that you always see, if you do an internship or if you do a training, எதனால பண்றோம், அது எனக்கு என்னோட ஜாப் ஸ்கில்ஸுக்கு எப்படி மேட்ச் ஆகும், and how it is going to keep me stand apart from rest of the crowd. நீங்களும் உங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட் 2 பேரும் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஃபார் பிஎஸ்சி ஆர் ஃப்ரம் கம்ப்யூட்டர் ஸ்ட்ரீம், தென் யூ ஆக்சுவலி கோ ஃபார் கோடிங் கிளாஸஸ். கோடிங் கிளாஸ் போனாலும் நீங்களும் உங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட் அதே ப்ரோக்ராமிங் லாங்குவேஜ் தான் படிக்க போறீங்க. அப்படியே அந்த ப்ரோக்ராமிங் லாங்குவேஜ் படிச்சாலும் 2 பேரும் ஒரே இன்ஸ்டியூட்ல ஒரே மாதிரி ட்ரைனிங் முடிச்சாலும், how you are different and how you are going to project yourself in that, what's actually matters. Okay, and finally find personal brand attributes. Again, strengths. Now the question is, what are your strengths? When we ask this candidate, they all say patience, perseverance, communication, team management, whatever they have done in their management studies paper and the other sense, they would actually talk about it, but they will not mean it. எல்லாரும் ஒரு ஸ்டாண்டர்டா ஒரு டெம்ப்ளேட் வச்சிருப்பாங்க. There are most of the candidates, when they come to for the interview, they say actually for the sake of talking about it. They say what are the strengths, tap ஒரு 5 points சொல்லிடுவாங்க. Once it is again appreciable where they have prepared something, they anticipate this question and they come up with all these answers. That is fine, but how you correlate those strengths really, if you have introspection, in English introspection அப்படினு ஒரு term, right? So introspection is nothing but analyzing or gauging about yourself in various sections. You say, what is my strength? SWOT analysis. What is your strength? What is your areas of improvement? What are your opportunities? And what you feel something as a threat? That is your SWOT, right? So likewise, when you say 5 personal brand attributes, then you could say, I am so and so person. I am a very time sensitive guy. And then if you see, I have actually reached this place at 9:45, though my interest at 10 o'clock. So it is always a habit for me to, come or stay ahead of time so that I don't have the last minute tensions. So that is one attribute where you are correlating with your strength, one personal attribute. And you would say, I think my communication actually stands class apart. Because when I was doing my school and colleges, I have participated in so competitions, essay writing competition, all this competition. I always have accolades for it. So when you actually talk about your brands, or when you talk about your personal attributes, you always please correlate with your real-time experience in case if you had achieved something of it. You say, I never give up. When you say never give up, reason to it. You say, I have been practicing in this academy for 4 years. Every year I aspire to, get the gold medal, or I aspire to win this championship. And year 5, I actually won it. I participated in so and so competition. I won this in my year 5. So this 4 years of, my effort, I didn't give up. Year 1, year 2, and even year 3, when I lost it, I didn't give up. I tried one more time, and 5th time it actually clicked. So this is how you actually, correlate your strengths, and you actually talk about it. And it's not for the sake of actually, giving them answers. It is again how you introspect. Even it need not to be 5 or 6. Even 3 விஷயங்களா இருந்தாலும் அந்த 3 விஷயங்கள் how it actually matches you as a person. Okay, and personally, professionally, it is important to know what makes you different. Personally, என்ன இருக்குன்றது தெரியும், how you are going to be different. Professionally, it's also how it is going to be different, because as I said, the base or bottom line of brand is how you are standing unique. This uniqueness and standing apart in the terms in the session full திரும்பி வந்துட்டே இருக்கும். ஆனால் அதை எப்படி நம்ம கொண்டு வரோம், எப்படி பில்ட் பண்ணுறோம், எப்படி டெவலப் பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்றது இருக்கு. Okay, so get know what exactly makes you to great and learn to communicate. Okay, so where lies your greatness and how you can actually communicate about it is very important. Understand your USP, unique value proposition, use your own ability. Right, unique value proposition, USP என்ற ஒரு டேர்ம் இருக்கு மார்க்கெட்டிங்ல நிறைய வரும். பிகாஸ் when you brandல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த பிராண்டோட USP என்ன, அந்த why Mercedes Benz is so different than BMW and why BMW is so different than Audi and why Audi is so different than Merc. And the mari ellathikume it has own its USPs, right? So that actually stands for the brand. Now, the next thing for you to develop your brand is join groups. When I say groups, it is not just your common WhatsApp chat group. It is again professional platforms where you have people in the same group. For example, if anything I have my HR groups where there are a lot of discussion that actually happens, and once in a while we also participate when there is some topics that actually happens. Likewise, you also see how you can actually join those professional forums and see how we can actually do it. Personally, we have a lot of forums. Number what's the group create control, it's just a cakewalk thing to do, right? So answer questions. You would say, what actually makes you different is, I'm a kind of person where I answer many things in Quora. I have so many followers in that. Annamari kuda, there are things which actually adds brand to your profile. Right, so I just given one examples like Quora, even LinkedIn. If you're effectively using LinkedIn, maybe that is again one part of the session today. But when you use it, when you're in the public forum and you see there is some debate that is actually happening, you can always put your points forward. You could say I'm so and so, I'm so active in these forums, where you could see my contributions. That actually gives you a brand for yourself. That's why I said Google more and add credit to your profile. It's when you are, though you are a fresher, or you say you limit your mind saying, okay, I'm a fresher, I know only very few things, and how do I effectively can contribute in my to the discussions or forums. That is none of your business. You are going to put for your point forward, whether it is taken or not. Even if it is taken, where somebody comes and argues with you, or they have a different perception, that actually gives you more idea about the topic or about the discussion. So if you think from one side of it, there is also one other side or one other perception from other side of it, which also adds to your knowledge, right? Or if you are very new to the topic or discussion, you please Google it, understand or refer the previous conversations in knowing what it is, and you could also summarize. You could say, this is my understanding, referring all my conversations, the previous discussion conversation. This is something is what I feel, and based on this is my reference, or this is my my interpretation about this topic. So you can always put your or raise your points. And finally, browse job openings to understand market requirements. This is very important. Now, for sure, in case if you really aspire to build your career in your stream, computer science IT stream போகணும், அக்கௌண்ட் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல இருக்கவங்க ஃபினான்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரீமுக்கு போகணும், அண்ட் மார்க்கெட்டிங்ல இருக்கவங்களுக்கு டிஜிட்டல் மார்க்கெட்டிங் சைட்ல போகணும் அப்படின்னா, ஃப்ரெஷரா இருக்கும்போது யூ ப்ளீஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வாட் இஸ் த மார்க்கெட் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட், மார்க்கெட்ல என்ன கேட்குறாங்க. ப்ரௌஸ் ஜாப் ஓப்பனிங்ஸ். யூ குட் டூ இட் இன் நௌக்கரியில ஃப்ரெஷர்னு போட்டிங்க அப்படின்னா, ஃப்ரெஷர் கிட்ட நிறைய எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் ஸ்டில் தேர் ஆர் ஃபியூ குவாலிட்டிஸ் விச் வுட் பி an eye opener for you. That will also help you to do the gap analysis. மார்க்கெட்ல XYZ இவ்வளோ திங்ஸ் கேட்குறான், எங்கிட்ட எக்ஸ் தான் மாத்திரம் இருக்கு, YNZ இல்லை அப்படின்னா, then that is the time for me to work on YNZ and add to my profile. Okay, that makes you the readiness to actually reach the market. And research prospective companies. Okay, if you are aspiring to join few companies, research those companies, and you see if you have your seniors working in the companies, then create that contact and see how to actually know more about it. Okay. So for example, if ஒரு auditing firm இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, if I ask you just list out 2-3 auditing firms or list out 2-3 auditing outsourcing companies, you should be able to tell us. That is again one point of thing. Connect with hiring managers. Connecting with hiring managers through LinkedIn or see how you can actually get them through referrals and stuff like that. And again, know your strengths. So that's what I was telling you. When few candidates are able to quickly and effectively communicate the strengths, again it is again how you articulate. என்னோட strength இருக்குன்றது நான் சொல்லிட்டேன்னா அதை you have to articulate how it actually correlates to your real life. Okay, again it's not about you don't memorize your strengths and understand how they can apply to your next client, employees, etc. It is not for the sake of talking about your strength. It is again how you realize what is your strength and how you correlate with your current habits. Okay, next. So you have discovered what you are, what is your brand, and you had made some effort in actually developing it, right? So discovering, developing is something which actually happens on one single time. ஒரு பிராண்ட் நான் கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா இட் இஸ் ஒன் சிங்கிள் டைம் ப்ராசஸ் ஃபார் மீ. பட் அந்த கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணி அதை மெயின்டைன் பண்ணுறது தான் வந்து இட்ஸ் அ நெவர் எண்டிங் ப்ராசஸ். இட்ஸ் அன் ஆன்கோயிங் ப்ராசஸ். ஸோ ஹவு டு யூ கம்யூனிகேட் யுவர் பிராண்ட்? வாட் ஷுட் ஐ டூ ஆக்சுவலி? ஸோ கிரியேட் a communication plan. Okay, when I say create a communication plan, again it starts when you are in the interview. From the interview perspective, first நீங்க டெக்னிக்கல் ரவுண்ட்லாம் முடிக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னும் போது when you come to an interview perspective, you always see how make a rehearsal of yourself, right? Make a rehearsal of yourself and see what is that you want to communicate, what is important என்ன கேட்டிருக்காங்க, or what this company is actually looking at, and how what is it you're going to present, rather than going with one single and standard format saying I am so and so, I have done my degree here, I am 68% still 6th semester waiting for my results in the 7th semester, and I did my project. All this stuff actually, yes, that is available, but how we are going to communicate, what actually takes priority? Okay, you rehearse yourself and talk something extra that is not available. So you should have one clear communication plan. You should say, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் வந்து என்னை பற்றின ஒரு சீக்கிரம் குயிக்காக ஒரு ஒன் லைனில் ஜெனரல் இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன், அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் பண்ண ப்ராஜெக்ட் பற்றி பேச போகிறேன், அப்புறம் நான் வந்து என்னோட ஃபேமிலி பேக்ரவுண்ட் பற்றி சொல்ல போகிறேன், அப்புறம் வந்து என்னோட ஸ்ட்ரென்த்ஸ் என்னன்றதை நான் சொல்ல போகிறேன். இப்படி தான் நான் வந்து ஐம் கோயிங் டு ஹாவ் மை ஓன் ஃபார்மட் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரடியூசிங் மை செல்ஃப் அண்ட் திஸ் கோயிங் டு பி மை கம்யூனிகேஷன், right? And second one is again when they actually talk about your resume, you always talk about accomplishments and achievements. Very common thing. As I said, the two different resumes இருந்தாங்க. அந்த பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரே ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் டெம்ப்ளேட், வேர்டிங்ஸ் கீடிங்ஸ் எல்லாமே இது ஒரே விஷயம். என்ன அப்படின்னா வந்து இந்த எக்ஸாமில் வந்து நம்ம இந்த ஃப்ரெண்டை பார்த்து எழுதும்போது ஒரே மாதிரி எழுதணும்னா மாட்டி போன்றதுனால அது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட் எழுதும்போது நம்ம செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட் எழுதுவோம், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட் செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் எழுதுவோம். அந்த மாதிரிலாம் மாற்றி எழுதுவோம், which we think it's a smart move. But when you are actually sitting in front of an experienced person where they have seen a number of such resumes வந்து அவங்க பார்க்கும்போது இது பண்ணுவாங்க. அதில் எல்லாமே பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா one thing I could commonly see is they say internship, I have done internship so and so, project இந்த இவ்வளோ டியூரேஷன், இந்த மந்த்து யூஸ் பண்ண ப்ரோக்ராமிங் சிஸ்டம் இது ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணோம். ஓகே, ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்கிறேன். So, but I have not seen, or being a candidate, you should be able to articulate saying, why did I do this project? I have not seen why people have done that project. What has actually provoked them to do that project? So that is very important. When you talk about your resume, don't talk about very old and cliche or general things. Talk about your accomplishments. Talk about your achievement. Right? You tell them what is that you have achieved. See, there is nothing achievement na மேடையேறி prize வாங்கணுன்றதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. And also achievement is not something which has a scale to measure which is higher, which is smaller. Every single thing that you do is actually an achievement. I would say, when I was actually getting into the job market, I said I am the first graduate in my family. For them could be it is nothing of that sort, but but in my family, I told them நான் தான் எங்க ஜெனரேஷன்லயே நான் தான் first graduate, because my parents haven't seen a college, they have not seen an university, but they helped me to earn a degree for myself. So I said that is again, I think that is an achievement. Why? Because in the whole generation there were
Participants, sir will join again. Just a minute.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you for helping me out. I didn't realize I was actually got disconnected. So can you all help me that where did you lose me? Can somebody help me? Where did you lose me? எங்க விட்டோம் நம்ம? From where did you lose me? Have you been online when I was talking about resumes, accomplishments?
Yes, sir. We lost you from the blog, sir.
Okay, so blog, and what I was telling is blog is not about technical things, or it is not only for technical people. It is for everybody else, where you replicate your ideas, your thoughts, you pen down your thoughts in a nice way, and that is also one thing where you could tell them, I'm a blogger and I have actually contributed to these many topics. That actually adds your profile, weightage to your profile. And in case if you have done a piece of work, you could actually show this as your reference document. I tell you, there was one student where she is very good at mandala arts. You know what is mandala art? Design la potu bayangama designs le they come up with an art. That is mandala. Then she said, I'm good at this. Maybe that is not totally relevant to the profile that she's going to appear, but she said that is the kind of thing that I do. I think this is a stress buster thing where I could actually help our people to come out of stress whenever they wanted to do such sessions. That is again one portfolio. And in case if you have with respect to your job, with respect to your career, you can tell them, I study in the PhD they would present their thesis. Yeah. And you have, even if you have your projects, you tell them why did you do the project, what has made it. The project project findings and nobody will talk about what is the purpose, why did they do that project. Why they'll say, when I went to the company, I understood this is the problem, this is the real-time problem that they have, so that has actually prompted me to do this problem. நிறைய பேர் வந்து கேட்பாங்க, ஏன்ப்பா இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ண அப்படின்னு கேட்டால், சார் எங்கள் கைடு சொன்னாங்க சார், எங்கள் வாத்தியார் சொன்னார் சார், நல்லா தான் பண்ணேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. And develop a timeline to implement that supports constancy in your communication. Again, it's transparency. Okay, you tell them black and white, this is what it is, this is what I am. That actually gives you complete merit. நான் வந்து என்ன ரொம்ப பெருசாக ஹைப்பாக காட்டணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நினச்சிட்டு அவங்க கொஸ்டின் கேட்டு நம்ம மொக்க வாங்கணும் அப்படின்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், that actually there you fail. But when you say you don't know, you tell them I don't know. I would say, rather than blabbering or rather than hovering around, I don't know. If you give me time, I would actually look at it and let you know. Until there was one guy, again one experience in it where that guy said, I am kind of for a moon run mudinjithu, and it was 7 o'clock in the evening. Then he said, the rest of the people wanted to finish it the day itself, but this guy he came and told us, like, I'm very mentally tired, I don't think I could actually take the next 2 runs of interview, and I would, if you permit, I will come the next day, that is tomorrow, I'll finish it off. And that's what he told me. Then we were like, எல்லாரும் candidate night 10 மணி நேரம் வெயிட் பண்றோம் முடிச்சிட்டு போறேன்னு சொல்றாங்க. But this guy said, this guy is totally different. He says he does not have energy mentally to attend the other rounds of interviews. Then we told them, okay, நீங்க போங்க, நாளைக்கு வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. Then the day came actually next day. But before we letting him go, we saw how he performed in the interviews. Okay, he was actually quite doing well. Then we asked him to come the next day. And next day, the very first question we asked him was, what has actually made you to tell that you wanted to leave and come next day? What in case if we have selected the other guy? Okay, what in case if you lost that opportunity because you are mentally tired or not mentally prepared and you wanted to have it one more day of the interview? Then he said, that's where I think I have my confidence. See, it is not only your company that I'm actually appearing for. I'm actually appearing for 2 other companies as well. So I have that confidence in selling myself, and I would in either of the companies, my interview will click, and I would actually manage to get a job, get to place myself in an employment. So again, one side, though it is an opportunity loss for me, but the other side again, it is again your side where you're going to lose a good candidate is what I feel now. I feel a bit then that is the kind of confidence that this guy actually exhibited, right? Why I'm telling you is that is the kind of transparency that you should have in your communication. Okay, if you say I think this is something that I could not actually make, you tell them this is something that I have not studied, this is something they have not gone through, but I still aspire to know this. At least this opportunity, this interview has given me an opportunity that I lack in so many areas, these many areas, and I think I have to just look at and improve. That's the positive approach or the way that you see, though that actually comes as a failure in your experience. So again it's clarity, consistency, and I said constancy, which is again transparency, where consistency actually matters. Clarity is very important. Clarity actually begins with your thoughts. When you have a very clear thoughts, your actions and gestures actually goes in a right direction. And if you are smart enough, you can also have a personal website which actually talks about yourself, right? So this is how you actually communicate a brand. So please have a communication plan, and you can't do it on the run. அங்க போயிட்டு பாத்துக்கல எது வந்தாலும் அப்படின்னு எழுதிட்டு யூனிவர்சிட்டி எக்ஸாம் கிடையாது. Even university exam yeah. So where you go, if you think you can actually do it on the run, you will deliver it. Still you will deliver it because you'll have a lot of confidence. You would have faced a number of interviews, so you know how the interview actually takes place and all this stuff. But if you want to crack it successfully without ஆனானப்பட்ட சச்சின் டெண்டுல்கர் net practice பண்ணாதான் போய் வந்து pitchல போய் ஆட முடியும், right? That's what it is, simple. So always rehearse it, have a plan in mind. Plan A or plan B, have it in mind, and see how we go. Okay, finally, networking is very important. So social networks. So I'd say, when you say social networking, it is not actually having about account with Insta, TikTok. People nowadays feel like do you have an account in social? They'll say yes, I have one in TikTok and one I have in Insta, right? Which is again on the personal side, which gives you some kind of pleasure when you actually do it. But what actually works, on the professional forum, அப்படின்னும்போது என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு right network, even WhatsAppலயே ஒரு group இருந்தாலும் you see it is actually belongs to the forum that you study, your forum of study. நீங்க பிகாம்னா பிகாம் காமர்ஸ்க்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி ஏதாவது இருக்கான்னு பாருங்க. ICW groups, CA groups. Now there are a lot of internal professional groups. You see how you can actually join. Just be an observer, be a mute spectator, observe, and once in a while also you can contribute in case if you know about it. But the kind of conversations that you have, that they have, will help you to know more about what is happening in the industry. Industry ஒரு term refer பண்ணா அந்த term என்ன அப்படின்றது தெரியும். So if you don't know, if you come across new terms, you always see how you can actually go and browse it, Google it, and understand what it is. That is how you build your knowledge. Okay, so maintain your brand. As I said, maintaining a brand is always a recurring event. நான் வந்து படிச்சுட்டேன், நான் வந்து டிஸ்கவர் பண்ணிட்டேன், டெவலப் பண்ணிட்டேன், அதை எப்படி கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணணும்னு தெரியும். ஆனால் இப்போ நான் கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணிட்டேன் அப்படின்னும் போது how you actually do it. So assess your brand regularly. LinkedInல போயிட்டு you see, LinkedInல when you actually go in, when you see experts talk, or you also please go and contribute. You tell them what it is, or you give them. They will. If there are many mature professionals where they encourage your participation and they correct you even if you are wrong. Nobody is going to pull your legs down. Nobody is going to bully you for what you don't know, but still they will actually help you in correct out. Rather ask for feedback and recommendations. Even your fresher, you ask for you go to your professor and tell me, hey professor, how I actually did well in my academics as well as my behavioral side of it. You please give me a recommendation in LinkedIn. உடனே எல்லாரும் போய் நாளைக்கு உங்க ஹெச்ஓடி ரூம்லயோ உங்க பிரின்சிபல் ரூம்ல நின்றாதீங்க, ப்ளீஸ் கிவ் மீ ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன்ஸ். பட் அகைன் திஸ் இஸ் சம்திங் வேர் யூ குட் ஆக்சுவலி add credit, add that creates a brand to you, right? You can also ask your peers to give your comment, give your recommendations, right? So that is very important. Or you can ask your seniors to write a recommendation for you in case if you have done so many things, you could actually do it. So please always ask for recommendations and get feedback. Only when you're open to feedback, you will be able to grow. That is 100% sure. When you are very offensive, or when you are very different about it, then you're not நீ என்னடா சொல்றது, நான் என்ன கேக்குறது இல்ல அப்படினா நீ என்ன சொல்றது உனக்கு எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்ச மாதிரி அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. When people come and talk about, then you will able to grow. Only when you listen, because people, yes, everybody talks about only your mistakes, பட் யாராவது அந்த மிஸ்டேக் நீ இந்த இடத்துல மிஸ்டேக் பண்ற தப்பு பண்ற அப்படின்னு சொன்னாதான் உங்களை அதை போய் கரெக்ட் பண்ணிக்க முடியும் நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம், ரைட்? That is number 2. And evolve to stay relevant. Okay, so when I say multiple copies of resumes, have a different copies of different styles of resumes. 2-3 styles of resumes that you have, where you could actually click it and see how you actually do it. Okay, have you ever searched for information about yourself online? What I do is at times I'll go and see என் பேரை போடுனா வேர் ஐ ஸ்டாண்ட், என்னோட ப்ரொஃபைல் தான் ரீடைரக்ட் ஆகும். யூ கால் இட் அஸ் சர்ச் இன்ஜின் ஆப்டிமைசேஷன். கூகுளில் போயிட்டு த நம்பர் ஆஃப் டைம்ஸ் தட் யூ கெட் reflected in the first page போது that actually gives you நம்மளை பற்றின இப்போ ஸ்ரீநாத் மோகன் அப்படின்னு போட்டால் முன்னெல்லாம் வந்து என்னோட வெறும் since I was so active on Facebook 2 years ago until 2019 போடும்போது என்னோட அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டாப் 10ல வந்து என்னோட பேர் வந்து நிற்கும். Because that is the kind of amount of time I was actually spending on Facebook, doing a lot of activities personally, professionally, அதெல்லாம் பண்ணும்போது அப்படி இருந்தது. Okay, but again then I thought like அதுலயும் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா there are people who came up in LinkedIn where the people who had lot of their own brand, அவங்களோட own brand இருந்தது. அவங்களோட ப்ரொஃபைலே போய் பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா it is totally different. Okay, so Google yourself and set Google it. There is again one thing where that was so interesting is when I went to a candidate, I told him how effective you use your social network, and then he said, you know what, the Google Maps irkumbodhu I give you recommendations. When I visit a place, then that comes for my recommendation and for my review. I will write a review of that place or that particular hotel. If I visit a hotel, I write recommendations, or I write my reviews and feedback about that hotel, and he become a 5-star guide in Google. So that is also one other thing which actually keeps your brand coming up all the time. Be consistent, walk your talk. சொல்றத செய்யறதுதான் நம்ம ஆக்சுவலா சொல்றோம். Okay, so a quick recap in all this 30-40 minutes of slides that you have gone through. Personal branding and networking is how recruitment is done. Very important. Okay, recruitment உங்களை எடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா it is again how is your network. So please talk to your professionals. உங்களோட seniors college விட்டு போயிருப்பாங்க, கம்பெனில ஒர்க் பண்றாங்கன்னா have a touch with them, regular touch, have a touch base with them, talk to them, understand the market, try to establish your contacts in LinkedIn. Okay, you have full control of your brand. Brand is something that you create for yourself. It is again completely your information where nobody is there to validate whether it is going to be right or wrong. So whatever it is, please present it in the right way. And if you take advantage of your strength, you will not lose opportunities. As I said, you always see, if you don't take advantage of your strength, you lose opportunities. When there is advantage of your strength, நீங்க எதுல பெஸ்ட், எதுல உங்களுக்கு நல்லா வரும் அப்படின்னு யோசிச்சு சொன்னீங்கன்னா that actually helps you to not lose opportunities. Brainstorm all your personal qualities and experience. Always have take experts advice from the industry. உங்க சொந்த அண்ணனா கூட இருக்கலாம். Tell them when I actually had this interview, அவன் இந்த question கேட்டா நான் இப்படி ஆன்சர் பண்ணேன். Okay, then that comes one other perspective, one other perception, one other perspective, or best answers from the other side. Even there are many things which I have learned from the candidates. Candidate interview பண்ணும்போது ஒரு சில questions எல்லாம் கேட்கும்போது ஒரு questionக்கே I have listened more than 4-5 types of answers for the same thing. அதில் பெஸ்ட் எது இருக்கோ I learned it. நான் வந்து இன்டர்வியூ அட்டென்ட் பண்ண போகும்போது that is something that I used it. So that's how we actually build your knowledge. Align your interest with career. I said, you see how you can correlate your real-time experiences, your real-time passions, and your real-time strengths towards your career. That is something that you can actually do. இதெல்லாம் நிறைய பேர் அந்த ரெஸ்யூமில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஆர்கனைஸ்டு NCC event, organized cultural at this portion அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவான். பட் அது வந்து ஒரு சைட்ல சின்னதாக போட்டு வச்சிருப்பான். Then when we ask him what is this about அப்படின்னா, sir, it is a cultural event that happened and I organized so and so things. But you tell them what is actually you did and how effective and what kind of impact that you had made. Because presentationல வந்து approach is very important. How you approach to that particular thing in a different way actually matters. Create your own personal brand and network heavily. எவ்வளோ பிராண்டிங் நீங்க பண்றீங்களோ அவ்வளோ நெட்வொர்க் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா that is kind of advantage. You could tell them when you go for an interview, இப்போ எங்க கம்பெனிக்கு ஒருத்தர் இன்டர்வியூ வரும்போது then asked him what do you know about your organization. Then he told me he browsed all our websites, he went to the other websites to know what is the review about our company. Glassdoor போனா இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தேன். But also one thing he told us is I know the so and so person. This person has did something and he's at this capacity. I know so and so, our பேரை சொல்லிட்டு he is actually the manager of this department. he is actually my connection by LinkedIn. So that is the kind of thing that actually makes you closer to the company. Oh, something. Yes, it's not just having one as a connection, as a one connection in the organization. I tried reaching him to understand what is the kind of thing that actually happens, what is the culture of your company. So that actually talks about your effort towards that opportunity. So personal brand costly hardly any money. It doesn't cost any money, but takes time. As I said, it's not an overnight process. It's a period of time process where you don't build it overnight, but you keep doing all these stuffs, which automatically creates a brand for yourself. Okay, use social media tools for personal empowerment and professional networking. Again, you see which is actually important for you, and yes, of course, once in a while, or maybe now, since you don't have much work to do, you could be very active in the entertaining social platforms. But equally, you also see that how you can empower yourself. Platform like your LinkedIn, இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா Udemy இருக்கு, அப்புறம் அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய learning digital platforms. Ever since this pandemic has started, many companies have come with learning platforms. அந்த லிண்டான் இருக்கு, அப்புறம் Udemy இருக்கு. இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு they give free login. So, okay, you can also have that as one simple example, saying I have an account with Linda and Udemy, and these are the courses certificates that I've already done. Okay, something of that sort that you can talk about. That is again your for your personal empowerment, you are using social media so effectively. Udemy இருக்கட்டும், Linda இருக்கட்டும், அதெல்லாம் இந்த courses இருக்கும். It's a 3 hours course. முடிச்ச உடனே அந்த certification you can actually post it on LinkedIn, which actually which creates a brand for yourself, right? So do that. Again, that comes under the in the continual education. Always be learning and reading good books, blogging and relevant blogs. You tell them, these are the blogs I'm interested in, and these are the companies that actually follow. Blog about anything that you're interested or an expert. Take responsibility for your happiness. Don't fall into the trap of it. Very, very, very important, because branding is always a state of mind, and when you are so happy, you can unleash your potential and see you can go beyond your boundaries. Set goals, set goals that actually take you places, and volunteer for a cause of passion that you're passionate about. Okay, so if you looked at my introduction or LinkedIn profile, you could see that I'm actually a volunteer of two. One is Chennai Physical Psychology Foundation, and one other thing is called as Gift of Future. That is again one NGO which helps the underprivileged children to finish their graduation. பைசா இல்லை அப்படின்றதுனால எந்த குழந்தையும் ஸ்கூல்ல இருந்து ட்ராப் அவுட் ஆகக்கூடாதுன்றதுனால ஒரு ஃபண்டு கலெக்ட் பண்ணி அவங்களோட எஜுகேஷனுக்கு ஃபண்ட் பண்றாங்க. பிகாஸ் we all firmly believe an education actually change the complete fate of family, right? So that could be a lot of people you could relate yourselves. உங்க அப்பா அம்மா ஆல்ரெடி படிச்சிருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு கொடுக்கும்போது ஒரு எல்லாத்துக்குமே ஒரு பெஸ்டான எஜுகேஷன் இந்த மாதிரிலாம் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. ஆனா ஸ்டில் படிக்காம இருந்தாலும் ஒரு SSLC இல்லை ஒரு 12th அந்த மாதிரி முடிச்சுட்டு அவங்களோட குடும்ப சூழ்நிலை காரணமாக அப்போலேருந்தே வேலை செய்ய ஆரம்பிச்சு, ஆனால் உங்களுக்கு காலேஜ் படிக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கஷ்டப்பட்டு கடனை வாங்கி எங்கேயாவது பைசா ரொட்டேட் பண்ணி உங்களை படிக்க வச்சு நீங்கள் when you actually go places, நீங்கள் போயிட்டு அந்த டைம்ல நீங்க அந்த பையன் சொன்ன மாதிரி I want to take my mom and give her the flight experience அப்படின்னு சொன்னார் இல்லையா அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த பையன். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி கொடுக்கும்போது that is the kind of happiness that actually happens, right? So that is also one thing, and also you have to give back to the society. So நான் இன்னைக்கு படிச்ச something that I have learned, something which I in the mother seminar I did not had when I was doing my college, right? When I was doing my education and when I was doing my undergraduation பண்ணும்போது இப்படி ஒரு செமினாரோ இல்லை ஒரு விஷயமோ இல்லை. But all these 14 years whatever that I gained as experience looking at different candidates, I keep participating in these kind of power seminars in some way of the belief that I think I have to do something. In the 1.5 hours that I spend over a weekday, I feel like okay, I think I have given something to the society for people to take few things. I'm very sure that out of all 120 students who are listening to this session would actually have few takeaways that would actually change them in their life. Finally, choose hope and refuse to participate in the decision. Okay, hope is the one thing which will never let you down, and you keep trying and you'll win one day, right? So the last slide on the LinkedIn again, how many of you still have profiles in LinkedIn? when you have profiles in LinkedIn, you see how you can actually brand them profile, tell them what you're doing, speak for yourself, find and invite people to join your network, not random people, just to like your Facebook connections where, I have thousands of friends into my list. No use. Facebookல 1000 பேர் நீங்க தெரிஞ்சு கையில வச்சிருந்தாலும் LinkedInல when you have those 1,000 relevant networks, when you find there is a down the line after 6 or 7 years, when you know there is an opportunity, when an organization, you can always take that expert's opinion. You can ask them to refer, because even if they are also an ex-employee, you can refer them. Okay, you can ask them to refer, or in case if you have I'll tell you, என்னோட பாஸ் ஒருத்தங்க இருக்காங்க, my ex boss in this previous company. If you want any professional assistance or professional expertise, I always reach them and tell them this is the problem that I'm going through in this company, in my company, or give me an idea how we could actually solve this problem. So அந்த மாதிரி expert advice is something that you actually look at. So please be active in LinkedIn, and please use it effectively to bring your brand, because brand is very important, and that's how you stand alone from the crowd. Okay. So I think with this, we are done. I am open to questions. Any questions, you can always reach me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really a great session, thought-provoking at the new ideas as well. Participants, it's your forum. If you have any questions, you can ask, sir. Sir is open to questions now. I think everyone has understand.
No, I'll just wait for a minute or two, as I said, and then if there is anything, we can take questions. Otherwise, I think we can close this session. So thank you
Close the
so much.
session.
Thanks for being so, obedient. Thank you, Santosh. No doubt, sir. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you very much. Thanks for that feedback. So thank you for being so, obedient students and listening the last 1 hour of your session. Thank you, Danya Ravi. Session was great. Thank you, Mani Meglai. And I think a lot of acknowledgement that's been happening here. I think this is the kind of impact that we wanted to give, and he said giving back to the society, right? Thank you, Deepa. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank the management, also the ICT, where they always have that faith and belief in ourselves in rendering fantastic sessions. Thank you, Ahmad, Vishnu, and Sarojini. Thank you so much, guys. Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think I will take a hard stop here
Thank you
by
so much, sir.
12:20. And anything else, we can always reach you. Thank you. Thank you, Kanibadi. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
ma'am. Bye.
We have a note of thanks note, sir.
Sure.
Actually, I consider this occasion as an honor and privilege to extend the word of thanks. Once a great man whispered, feeling thankfulness and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So today, I take this opportunity to pull all my gratitude into words. On behalf of the entire crew of Skill Up Organizing Committee, I would like to thank our beloved Chief Guest, Mr. SRINATH Mohan, Manager HR, Talent and Culture, Biotechnologies, Coimbatore, for taking his precious time and consenting out to be the best chief guest. Srinath sir, indeed your session is a great learning to all the participants. Really, thank you so much, sir. I thank our beloved Managing Trustee Correspondent, Ms. K.S. Geeta ma'am, and the Secretary of the institution, Dr. Pavitra Tamina, who graced us with their guidance. Thank you, ma'am. I thank our CEO, Dr. B. Gunalan sir, for his presence and always helping us in carrying out such important events. Thank you so much, sir. We have been fortunate to be assisted by our beloved principal, Dr. M. Nagarajan, sir. You have been a constant support and have given us a lot of encouragement. Thank you, sir. I extend my gratitude to Vice Principal, sir, coordinators, sir, heads of various departments for their presence this morning. Thank you, dear professors. Last but not least, I thank all the participants for showing their interest in this program. Once again, I thank everyone for making this 4-day webinar session Skill Up a great success. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay home. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dear participants, I'm just posting the feedback link. You can fill the feedback link. Ashina sir, you can wind up the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Participants, I have posted the feedback link. Once you fill the feedback link, you can leave the session. Thank you for all the participants for making this fill up a grand success.